JP Nation? This your boy JP. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel where we do basketball reaction videos and other basketball content. If you love the game of basketball like I do, make sure you subscribe to It's Just JP down below and click the notification bell. You know where our next upload is on the road to 40K. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be reacting to Scap's attack. How great was Larry Bird's prime? I don't even have to explain how great Larry Bird was in his prime, man. Just go watch the tapes, go watch the film. I've been enjoying Larry Bird this month in terms of the stories and the highlights. So I appreciate everybody wanting me to react to Larry Bird, one of my favorite players of all time. I ain't going to talk too much, in the intro. Let's go ahead and get into the video, man. I'm so excited. Rack up the likes, too, as well. Let me know what you want me to react to next.
Larry Bird is fast becoming one of the most divisive characters in basketball history, with some recognizing Bird as the greatest player of all time, while some have him dropping out of the top 10 altogether. This coming in recent years amid the rise of this first crop of NBA talent, coupled with mounting narratives of the alleged physical inferiority of other eras.
Hey, I'm just so good. Like, they showing LeBron as this strong person and then Steph over there just dancing like just what? He must be a Steph Curry hater or something. I mean, it just had me laughing.
Oh, well, he was being guarded by plumbers and firefighters.
Oh my God, JJ.
Presents a major dilemma, which is on the rise as of late across the board in all of the major sports. How do you weigh different eras? How can you cross-compare different players who might have existed decades apart from one another, played against varying levels of competition, and in starkly contrasting league-wide environments? How can you factor in elongated...
I'm sorry to keep pausing the video, but there's something I just want to go on a rant about something here. Look, everybody's top 10 is going to be different. Everybody's not going to have the same top 10 of all time. Like some people are going to have Larry Bird as number 1, number 3, number 5, number 10, number 7. Hell, outside of the top 10. Everybody's going to have a different opinion on their top 10 of all time. Dr. J going to have a different top 10. LeBron James going to have a different top 10. Michael Jordan, Karl Malone, even like non-basketball players like NBA content creators, NBA fans, that watched the game from decades ago to now. Like everybody's going to have difference of opinion of their top 10 of all time. ESPN is going to have their own top 10. Bleacher Report. You can name anybody's going to have a different top 10 of NBA players of all time. So, but what really pisses me off is that some of the people disrespecting the former players, like even the players that was playing in the quote unquote the 3-point era of basketball, and I'm not disrespecting JJ Redick because he's brilliant at what he does and all that, but just one point talking about Larry Bird not being one of the greatest 3-point shooters of all time, Bob Cousy playing against plumbers and firemen, really disrespectful to the former players and all that, because basketball evolved differently. Bob Cousy, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, they wasn't fortunate enough to have this advanced technology that that the players have today, or blessed to have so much film of different players back in the day. They didn't have that. Why can't you just give respect to the former players that paved the way to the players that we see now? Because if it wasn't for Bob Cousy, you wouldn't probably see a Magic Johnson, or Chris Paul, or just to name a few. If it wasn't for Dr. J, you ain't gonna see a Michael Jordan or Vince Carter or a LeBron James. Everybody's unique in their own way. Everybody that goes to the NBA has a unique story about them that paved the way for generations and generations of basketball players to come. So I just don't get the disrespect of the former players, man. You got to give respect to the former players that paved the way to see where we at now in terms of the NBA players of today. I just wanted to get it off my chest. Like I said, everybody's going to be subjective of their opinion of their top 10 or any takes that they have regarding NBA. So,
time of play and peak performance extension amid technical advancements in nutrition, supplementation, training philosophies, and implementation. Fundamentally, the answer is complex.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But one element of comparison is easy. How dominant were you in your own time? How much did you excel against the competition within your own era? And how feared were you? And Larry Bird has one of the shorter careers of any all-time great
He did have the
in NBA
longevity.
history, as he was drafted with the number 6 overall pick in the 1978 draft by the Boston Celtics at the age of 22. But Bird opted to return to Indiana State for his senior year in college and forego entry into the NBA until the following 1979 season at the age of 23. And on November 15th, 1988, just 6 games into the season, Bird would be diagnosed with debilitating bone spurs on both Achilles that would require immediate season-ending surgery.
Damn.
And at the age of 32, Bird would miss that entire season and postseason, leaving many to speculate that Bird's career was over. And years later, Larry himself admitted he should have retired following the Achilles surgeries. However, the next season, at the age of 33, Bird returned and played 75 of a possible 82 games, while averaging 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists per game in 39 minutes a night. Load management be damned. But the decline would set in sharply, and Bird's reluctance to miss games or sit out nights throughout his career, coupled with his intensely physical style of play, took its toll. In all, during his final 4 seasons, Bird missed 142 of a possible 328 games.
Damn.
And that was after missing only 27 total games over his first 9 years in the NBA, due to the sharp fall-off amid a body that quickly failed him. Larry Bird played a total of only 897 regular season games and 164 playoff games throughout his entire NBA career. Compare that to the self-proclaimed GOAT, who many believe has surpassed Larry Legend in recent years as the greatest small forward in NBA history.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
LeBron James. James has played to date in 1,703 combined regular season and playoff games, nearly 700 more total games than Larry Bird played, and LeBron is moving on to season number 21 and counting. It is conceivable that James will end up playing in twice the amount of games as Larry Bird. It's no wonder James and other all-time great players dwarf Bird's statistical accumulation with the relatively limited career Bird had in terms of time played. But in understanding the context of his career from a peak standpoint, and when factoring in the NBA built around him at the time, Bird produced arguably one of, if not the best primes ever. Coming into the league the same season as Irvin Magic Johnson in 1979, it would be Bird that won Rookie of the Year that season, while also being named to first-team All-NBA and making the NBA All-Star team in just his rookie season.
One of the best rookie seasons.
For that 1979-1980 season, Bird would be named first-team All-NBA for the first 9 seasons of his career, while the Celtics would make 8 conference finals over those 9 seasons. And this Eastern Conference was a far cry from that of the Chosen Ones era that he feasted on, which was one of the historically weakest conferences ever. But the Eastern Conference of the 1980s was the power conference. This decade saw one of the greatest teams in NBA history in that conference. The 1983 Moses Malone and Julius Erving-led Philadelphia 76ers. It had the Bad Boys Pistons, the Dominique Wilkins Atlanta Hawks, a perennial 50-win Milwaukee Bucks team, and Michael Jordan. There were no easy series in the Eastern Conference playoffs during the decade of the 1980s. Yet Larry Bird found his way to 5 NBA Finals over the first 9 years of his career. And his reward for battling through the gauntlet of those stacked Eastern Conference playoff fields was meeting one of the greatest teams ever assembled in the NBA Finals from the Western Conference. The Celtics and Larry Bird had the misfortune of running up against the LA Lakers in 3 NBA Finals, led by arguably 2 top 5 players ever, Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a team that also had top 50 all-time player and perennial all-star James Worthy as a third option. Yeah, Bird lost to that team twice in the NBA Finals for his only 2 finals losses. But he also beat that team in the NBA Finals for 1 of his 3 finals wins. Oh, and also beat the Hakeem Olajuwon Rockets in another NBA Finals. The accumulated number of elite, high-end opponents Bird faced throughout his 9-year run puts him in the running of having acquired some of the most difficult rings in league history. But this should come as no surprise, since Larry Bird was one of the most high-leverage winners the sport of basketball has ever seen, as the Celtics were just 32-50 and 29-53 the 2 seasons prior to Bird's arrival. But in just his first season in the NBA
60
as a rookie,
wins.
Bird elevated the Celtics from 29 wins to 61 and took
yeah.
Boston all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. And over the 9-year run until his dual Achilles surgery practically ended his career, the Celtics won an average of 61 games a year and never won fewer than 57. During that 9-year prime, beginning in his rookie season at the age of 23 and running until his double Achilles surgery at 32, Bird averaged 25 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals per game, while shooting 50% from the field, 38% from the three-point line, and 88%.
Make it louder for the people in the back, though. Make it louder for the people in the back right there. Come on now. Come on. Like, yeah, Larry Bird played with a Hall of Fame team and all that, you know, with Parrish and McHale. I mean, they wasn't really Hall of Famers before they got to Boston, though. You know, McHale was drafted, and then Parrish was on Golden State, but, you know, he wasn't a Hall of Famer until he got to Boston. You go ask Kevin McHale. You go ask Robert Parrish if they can win a championship without Larry Bird. Go ask them. They'll look at you crazy, okay? They're going to look at you crazy. And Larry Bird probably going to say, oh yeah, and Dennis Johnson, rest in peace to him too. Go ask Dennis Johnson too. He'll tell you he ain't going to win. Even though he won in Seattle, but you put him in Boston, they'll tell you that they ain't going to win without Larry Bird. Now, come on now. Come on. Don't disrespect. Don't say like Larry Bird had a Hall of Fame team and all that. It wasn't his fault. The Red Auerbach was just a great GM and president. He knew what the Celtics needed and gave them a pulse. Because he was the head coach of the Boston Celtics. You're talking to a guy that won championship after championship in the Bill Russell era. So come on now. Just come on.
From the free throw strike. During that 9-season run, Bird finished top 5 in MVP all 9 seasons, with an absurd 4 second-place finishes during that time and 3 first-place finishes. His 4 runner-ups were to Moses Malone twice, Julius Erving, and Michael Jordan. His 3 league MVPs were won consecutively over the span of 1984 to 1986, and done in a league that had Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Moses Malone, Julius Erving, Dominique Wilkins, Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Michael Jordan.
There's more.
The 1980s era, an era defined by arguably the greatest collection of high-end historical NBA talent. The case that Larry Bird was the greatest player of them all during that decade is an easy one to make. So while players that have played drastically longer than him might have stacked more stats than him, what if the question was how dominant were you in your own time? How much did you excel against the competition within your own era? And how feared were you as a player? Under those parameters of evaluation, it is clear that Larry Bird still stands on an island with very few guys who have ever played in any era.
And that was the end of the video, man. Great video from Scap Attack talking about how great was Larry Bird's prime. He gave you the numbers and the statistics right there, and then gave you the accolades of what Larry Bird was doing in his prime too as well. And going after championship. Larry Bird didn't even care about the stats. He didn't even care about the fame or the fortune. All he cared about was winning games, winning the championship. That's all he cared about. That's what he came into the league for, is to win championships. Him and Magic had that mindset of winning championships. That's all he cared about. Listen, if Bud didn't have Mikael Parrish and Dennis Johnson, man, he'd be putting up a lot more numbers and all that, okay? But since he had it, but he cared so much about winning that he'd rather make his teammates better and win than just putting up stats and all that, okay? So, but yeah, Larry Bird was just amazing. And like I said, top 10 players of all time is very subjective. Everybody's going to have an opinion. Some might have Larry Bird as number 1. Some might have Larry Bird at number 5, number 3, number 8, number 10, outside the top 10. Everybody's going to have their own opinion at the end of the day in terms of the top 10, though. But don't ever disrespect and say that Larry Bird was just making shots out of luck. Man, that brother had skills for days. Don't disrespect the man. Go watch the highlights. Go watch the film. Go look up his resume. His resume speaks for himself. I don't think nobody else ain't going to have a resume like he does, winning MVP, winning finals MVP, winning executive of the year, winning freaking coach of the year. I don't think nobody's going to come that close to doing all them things that Larry Bird was doing. I'm just saying, don't disrespect Larry Bird like that. Don't disrespect the former players, man. But let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the video. Let me know what you want me to react to next. Make sure you subscribe to It's Your JP for more content and click the notification bell. You know our next upload is on the road to 40K. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm JP, and we out of here. Peace.